And we're live. Hey, everybody, my name is Dee Corchin. I am glad you guys tuned in tonight. It's Monday, November 12th, if you can believe it. So we are here. We are continuing and actually wrapping up our series on client support, really talking about what it is we do as coaches, how our connection with our clients, what our real role is, and our ultimate goal is our client's success, not only to lose weight, to reach their goal, but the most important thing is that they keep it off and that they are exposed to everything that Optavia has to offer, including the coaching opportunity, because we know it can help them with their physical health, and we also know it can help us just like it has helped them, like it's helped us with other parts. So do you hear my dog with the squeaky toy? Gonna see if I can move her out of here. Hold on 1 second. All right, Casey, gotta go. Okay, sorry about that. It would be very annoying if you kept hearing that. So anyway, so thanks for being on. So tonight's call, we're going to cover two things. We're going to cover what's called the celebration or tip call with a client, and then we're also going to talk about the Coach Explorer. So Julie Apple is on with me, and then also towards the end, one of our coaches, our executive directors, is going to share with us her experience utilizing these calls as both a client and a coach, and how they've helped her in both ways. So in preparation for this call, I really went back and I watched a video. It was a Facebook Live that had been shared in our group from Meg earlier in the year. It was from Carol Hips, and it was called, I think they called the 4 C's. And you can go back in our group and look at it if you want. But she really talked about what is our role as a coach and what are we doing here as coaches. And she called it the 4 C's. And I just thought it was perfect that we could do a quick little review of this. So the 4 things we're doing is, the first one is, and you can write, I encourage you to write this down. First thing is that we have conversations with people. So conversations is what in our client acquisition phase, it's just, we are just being humans, talking to people, whether that be in person, Facebook messages, reaching out to people like, hey Lori, it's been a while. I haven't reached out to you in a while. How you doing? Getting those private message conversations going. But really just sharing and letting people know what we have and looking to see who might want to engage with us, right? So having conversations, spreading the word. The second thing is when they become a client, the second C is client support. Right? So we're going to engage with them. We are going to be their guide on their journey, and recognizing that's going to look very simply, we're going to have a structured process. We've been covering this the past few weeks, structured process for how we contact our clients, and that our primary form of communication is phone, because we know that's the best way that we're going to be able to connect with them and communicate, keeping those calls short. And also through that having a structured process with it, that we're linking them to everything that's going to help them, because that's our role. So we know that following the eating plan is just 25% of the equation. Having a relationship with you, their health coach, is 25% of the equation. Right there, we've only hit 50% of it, right? So the next thing is that we have to really work to connect them to the education that we have. And this is probably where we feel the biggest resistance with our clients, but we know that it's through the education. We know it's not about following the meal plan, because the meal plan is the diet, and we can follow a diet, but the real lifelong change is going to be in the change of the thought processes and the shifting of the mind. I just had a long conversation with a client about that today. She was just talking about how our program has worked on her mind, and everything is different because of the fact she's engaging in that aspect of it. And so then we also know we want to engage our clients into community. So the 4 things, their health coach, the education, the community, and the eating plan, all of that together is going to help our clients reach and maintain our goals. But the definition of community goes beyond even just our Facebook group. That's one form of community. But we know for a client's best interest, for them to be able to have their best success going forward, the best interest is that they start to build their own healthy community around them. And their best way to do that is by becoming a health coach. That's really the next step in the journey if somebody is really serious about making change. So what we're doing, so we talked about, we've made the connection with the person. We've talked in the past 2 weeks about client support. So now we're going to talk tonight about celebration calls. That's the next thing we're going to talk about. And this is going to be probably a new procedure for a lot of us. A lot of us probably have not been doing this, or we've heard of it. We don't know what it is. Maybe it wasn't in place when we were a client, so we're not sure now as a coach what it would look like. So that's what I want to cover with tonight. And basically what we're doing with a celebration call is we are introducing your client to your coach, to your friend, to your coach, the person that has helped you on your journey. We're introducing them to your coach. And so that's what a celebration call is. And a celebration call is best done when a client is new in their journey, like around day 7, 8, like their first week in the program is really a great place to have that celebration call with your coach, or you can call it a tip call. But what we're doing is they're in the sweet spot of fat burn. They've gotten into fat burn, they're feeling good, they're like, whoa, like this is different than anything I've ever done before. But yet at the same time, they have the same apprehensions and the same hesitations and doubts whether they're going to be successful long term. Because odds are this is not their first time to the rodeo. They've tried to lose weight before. It's not the first time they've gotten off to a great start. So our role is we want to help them, show them another layer of support. And by introducing them to your coach, your friend, what we're going to do is we're going to give you third-party credibility to who you are, to what you've already been saying, and about how they want to get involved in these other things we've talked about. And because we know you've already dripped coaching on them, we'll even mention coaching. Like if I was doing a celebration or a tip call with one of Lori's clients, I would say, tell me about your journey. Why are you here? What's your goals? What are you liking so far? Tell me what you tried before. And then I would say, would you like some tips on how we could make this most successful for you so that you stay in your lane and that you can reach your goals and keep it off? And of course they're going to say yes, right? They're all in the happy place. So I'm going to validate, or your coach is going to validate for you everything you've been saying and give more explanation in their eyes why it's good for them to get involved in these other things. And then we'll even talk about coaching. But I'm also going to ask them questions about their life, about their work, about their family, because anytime we talk about the full trilogy of Optavia, it's going to be in terms of how it's a solution for them. So we know it's a solution for them for keeping their weight off, but very often they don't even, know that they need that. So, but there's also apparent other issues, that whether they have a financial need or they're looking for more time. But what I wanted to point out about this, I thought that Carol Hibbs did such a great job with this, was she talked about not making it weird. That some people have said, like, it feels weird to say that to my client, like, oh, we're going to do a celebration call or whatever. And I loved what she said. She said, it's only weird if you make it weird, right? Like if we feel uncomfortable talking about it, well, we're going to make them feel uncomfortable about it. So what I do with my clients is, what we want to do is we want to talk to our clients as if this is just a normal step in the process. Like, hey, this is what we do next. It's not an asking permission or would you like to. So what that would look like, actually, Julie, you want to spontaneously role play with me for a second? All right. So we're going to pretend that Julie is my client. She's in first week, she's down 6 pounds. She's feeling amazing. So what I would say is, Julie, are you having fun with this? Are you loving what you see so far?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. Well, listen, here's what happens next. I want you to meet my friend, Susan. So Susan has been my coach. She is the reason, honestly, why I have been so successful keeping my weight off for over 7 years. So what we do at this step of the game is I'm going to schedule a call for the three of us, just a quick short call just so you can meet her. And would you like some extra tips from her on how you could be successful to make sure you reach your goal and keep it off?
That sounds good and helpful.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'll send a 3-way text. I'll get that set up and we'll do that in the next day or so.
Sounds good.
All right. So that's what that looks like in terms of how do you introduce it to your client, and how do we keep it simple? How do we just have it as part of their journey? Now, it's very possible that you have clients that have passed the 8-day mark, right? You've never done a celebration call with them. So what I would suggest is just do it now. Just do it now. Like, you know what? You're down 14 pounds. Oh my God, it's time for us to celebrate. It's time for you to meet my friend Dee, or my friend Lisa, or whoever your coach is. And I really love the language of saying my friend, because we're family here, right? Like, we know our coach is our friend. So it's really like you're introducing your friend, the client, to your friend, the coach. So that is kind of the what, when, and why we do the celebration call, the tip call. And I really recommend that you do this with every client, because it'll become our normal process or normal procedure. You're going to see what's going to happen next. Julie's going to show what happens is that typically through that, they start to see Optavia bigger. We plant the seed about coaching, and then that's naturally going to lead to a Coach Explore call. We're either going to be scheduling it very soon or very shortly down the road. So Julie, do you want to touch on that? Because I know you kind of had a light bulb moment around all this, and it's created a big shift in your business.
Yeah. So really quick, if you guys raise your hand, has anybody done an Explore call with your business coach or on your own? Raise your hand. I'm trying to see what the numbers are. So it looks like maybe like half and half, if I had to guess. Early on, like, I heard people talk about the Explore call and I didn't really understand exactly what it was. And for me, I'm the kind of person that I need steps and something to follow, and then it all makes sense in my head. And there was a boot camp training probably a month ago, right before I think y'all went to Sundance. It was one of those boot camps on a Saturday morning, and I happened to be free and I happened to listen in, and I thought it was probably the most valuable hour of my time that I had spent in a while. They went exactly through what an Explore call means and what the purpose is and how you do it. And so in my head, I was like, oh, this makes sense now. So they explained that the Explore call is just the next step. So once you've done the celebration call with your coach and you've done those tips, naturally it's opened the door to communicating and talking about coaching, because they're all happy and they have this great tip of, if you want a continued accountability, coaching is your answer. So you've opened that door. And then as you're talking to your clients, weekly checking in with them, it's coming up. If you're doing this the right way and helping your clients the right way, you're continuing to talk about coaching. Then what you can do is say, how we talked about that coaching, is that something you would want to talk about more and maybe explore on a separate call? And if they say yes, you can say, well, why don't I send you one of the calls that our company's done that will just open your eyes a little bit more. You can check it out and see if it's something that may fit you. I'm going to send you this trilogy call. If it's a trainer, send them the trainer one. If it's a chiropractor, send them the chiropractor one. If it's a mom, send them one of the ones talking about moms doing this. You send them a specific trilogy call link in a text and say, I'm going to send you this trilogy call. Watch this. Why don't we plan to reconnect next Monday during our talk when we catch up? And you can tell me what you think. And if you want to explore it more, we'll schedule that time. So to me, it made such logical sense of, okay, you've talked about coaching with your coach. You've talked about it on your weekly check-ins. Here's your next step. Watch this trilogy call. Then you can schedule the Explore call from there. And what was so neat is Becca Tinter went through what that Explore call actually is. And if we can find this video, we'll have to pull it together and show you guys. But she basically walked through the Explore call is just an assessment talking about coaching. And so in my head, I was like, that takes all the pressure off. You're just asking questions. And I don't know, can I do screen share, Dee?
Yeah, you should be able to share, no problem.
Let me see. Where is it at?
It's usually down at the bottom.
Bottom? Okay. Because I have the document and we can share it in our group so you guys can look at it, but I thought it might be helpful if we take a couple minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it'll do it. My computer's sometimes a little slow. All right. Can you guys see anything on my screen yet?
Not yet.
Okay. It may be better just if it's my computer's so slow. We can do it on the in our group. I'll add it to the page, but basically I'll walk you through what it says is let me see if it'll go now. All right, she says, give me a quick overview of your life. Tell me about your work and family if we haven't met yet. Is it popped up? Can y'all see anything? See? You see it, Shauna?
Yes.
Okay. Yay. Okay, so we'll post this in our group so you guys can all look at it. But basically, this Explore call, you can either do it on your own if you feel comfortable, or you'll want to schedule it with your business coach. So if your business coach is Dee, get Dee, your potential coach candidate client, and you schedule that so there'd be 3 people on this call. And then your business coach can lead it with you if you're not ready to lead it yourself. So that's why she said, give me a quick overview of your life. Tell me about your work and family, because there may be people on the call that don't know about your client's life. So that would be the introduction. I say to make that comfortable, you can just say, catch Dee up on your life. Tell her about what made you start the program, and just catch us all up. So that's kind of how you get the ball rolling, just like an assessment with the person you're talking to about the program. And then you can ask them, well, what'd you hear that you really liked about that presentation? So they've listened to the call, and then they can tell you, what'd you think? You find out what you thought. So it opens up the questions, just like you would be doing on a normal assessment. And then you can ask, how would coaching benefit you or your family? That's where you can listen and find out, do they have a financial need? Do they have a need for a second career? Do they have a need for paying off bills? Find out what this would be a benefit for them. And then, do you have any other concerns that might hold you back? So you basically just walk through all these questions with them. And then what I liked is that you can already be asking them, how much time do you have to coach? So you can be exploring these things that, to me, in my head, I was like, how do you find out all these answers? Because these are things that you're thinking of, right? But when you're going through this Explore call, that's where you ask them those questions. And then it's not like the big elephant in the room that you're wondering, do they even have time for this? Do they want to make the time for this? So you can ask them all those questions. And then the key step, I think, too, that connects all the dots is you can say, well, now that we're talking about this, who do you have on your heart that you would even want to help? And that's where you can start listing those people that come to mind. And then you can write those down. And so that kind of gets the ball rolling. And then you can finish with, like, what else do you want to know while we're all together? So this Explore call sheet that walks you through that, I think is so helpful, because it's just like the client assessment. You're just doing it with a coach candidate. So that was to me the aha moment. I'm like, got it. Celebration call, tips call, send the trilogy call to them, schedule an Explore call. And then naturally, if they're ready to coach after that Explore call, you're like, well, let's schedule your practice calls and get your kit ordered, right? Like, so it just makes sense and it flows. So hopefully that helps you guys in the process of it a little bit more, because it helped me.
Thank you, Julie. I think the bottom line, if I did not say it at the beginning, is what we're teaching is duplicatable steps for your clients that then become coaches, that then they can duplicate with their clients and then coaches. And so it's duplicatable. So in this process, what we're doing is transferring skills. And so, so like Julie said, like with the Coach Explore call, if you have a coach candidate that, somebody you've dripped on coaching on, it's very hard and it can be a little daunting to them if you said directly to them, like, hey, so do you want to be a health coach? So what we like to do is this Coach Explore. Like, would you like to explore what coaching could look like? Because they don't know, right? If they don't have full information, if they haven't watched a trilogy call, one of the trilogy calls, they don't know. So what we want to do is just ask them if they will would they be willing to explore it? So they'd have full information before they make a decision, yes or no. When you do that explore call or that tip call with your coach, what your coach is doing, and by you observing, is that you're actually learning and observing that skill, so that then you'll be able to do it yourself, right? And then be able to help your clients and coaches with it. So I wanted to just take a few minutes to ask Pat Daniel. Pat Daniel is became an executive director a few months ago. And so she's been on both sides of the equation, because she really just became a coach several months ago. So she's been brought by Carol, her coach, to a Coach Explorer call, and then also has been utilizing tips calls and celebration calls and explorers with her clients. So Pat, I wanted to open it up to you as somebody who's embraced this process to kind of let us know what it did for you. Let's talk first about what did it do for you as a client. I can't remember if we did a tips call, celebration call for you, but I know we did explore call.
Well, we didn't do a tips call, but we almost did, because Carol was brand new, and so I was one of her experiments. The first week, kind of not really a chance at a client, but let me practice on Pat kind of person. And so I did get to meet you up front, which is kind of the same thing. And then my explore call was later, and it was a little different because it was with Mark, my husband, and it was with you and Larry. And so it did a lot for me. It was just that third party accountability. Of course I love my sister and I trust my sister, but to hear it from somebody I didn't know that's further down the road, it just, I knew Carol thought I could do it, but Carol thinks I can do everything. So it was nice to hear it from somebody that doesn't know me, and just kind of hear what's possible. And from you that had been coaching longer. So it just gave credibility and kind of reality and possibility to the whole idea. And then it was also just an added benefit for me personally. And I think this was probably, wouldn't be everybody's situation, but it was really nice for Mark and me to be able to talk to you and Larry so that we could be on the same page, and he could hear from a husband, and so that was nice. But I think
that is always an option, you guys. If anybody, even if I am not your direct coach, if you want, if you've got a husband or a whatever, or somebody, a couple or a male that wants to coach, remember that Larry and I could also do that call together, just like we did for Pat.
Yeah. And just for me, deciding whether or not to coach, the community to me is so key. And, if I had only had Carol, I wouldn't have had, I couldn't have seen the vision of what the whole vision of the company is, so going to the local events was really big for me. But then next to that, if you can't do that, especially, I think it's just really important to see from another member of Optavia. So, it's more than just one person, you see a glimpse of a bigger picture.
That's exactly the intent. So thank you. I'm glad that you have felt that and you experienced it, because you saw it bigger than your sister. You knew, and that's what happens a lot of times with our clients, is you're telling them they could be a great coach or that they could definitely do this, but they may not believe it. So then when they have a third person saying the same thing, like it's simple, it's duplicatable, it's whatever, then it's a different story. So now you've been great. You've utilized these calls with your clients, actually had a new coach come on as a result of it, 2 new coaches. So tell me how it helped you in that sense as a coach. How did letting me kind of do the heavy lifting for you, how did that help you?
Well, that was exactly it. I'm okay at dripping, as they say, but it's hard for me to actually say, are you ready to be a coach? And so I can say little hints and things, but it just provides an easy way to say, would you like to explore it further? And then you're able to go kind of more, right directly at the question, whereas I feel uncomfortable at it sometimes, so it's until I think, a lot of the things I've watched lately talk about, having a mindset change. And I think I've had the mindset change where I know that coaching is so key, but I haven't gotten the confidence behind myself to really be able to talk freely to. I still feel like my clients think I'm just trying to sell them, And so even though I know that it's one of the most important things that they can do for themselves, and I think I say that, but still I still, it's just nice to have somebody else kind of come along and back up what I'm saying to them, just kind of, again, that third party accountability is big. I can tell them that they can do it, and I can tell them how important it is, but I think it still just helps to have somebody they don't know kind of come back and say the same thing in a different way, and someone that with a little more experience than I have.
Absolutely. And that's what's nice about if we have done this in that order, right? So remember the 4 C's: conversations, client support, celebration, and then coach explore. If we're doing them in that order, your coach now has already met your client. Like now you have another set of eyes on your client that might be asking questions or listening for something that you might not see. Because remember, Optavia is a solution for our clients. I mean, we know so many people could benefit from this life that we have and what coaching offers. So your coach during that celebration call might see something that you don't see. Once they start to know them, might start to notice maybe what they're doing or saying in our client group. So it's just a way that we've just started to involve more people in the process so that we can move it along and maybe ask questions that you didn't think to ask or whatever. And remember, we're all on a learning curve. I learn every single day. Even though I've been doing this for a while, I learn. When I bring my clients to Susan, she asks different questions than I did, and I'll think, oh my gosh, like I've known this client this long and I've never even asked that question. So it's just having that another set of eyes on it. So let's see. So I see some questions coming here. What do you have, a random client? If you could copy and paste this, Michelle, maybe into our into the thread on our Facebook group, because we're going to run out of time on here to be able to answer that. So, but I'm more than happy to try to address it. So if you want to copy and paste that into our Facebook group under this topic, we'll definitely address that question. And that actually is a really good segue of what I want to share with you guys, that I am so excited that we're going to shift the focus of our calls, what they're going to look like going forward. And they are actually going to be opportunities now. Instead of us doing so much training where you're coming and you're listening, and the odds are you probably have questions or comments or concerns or doubts or lack of understanding, if it's just normal. What we're going to do, instead of just repeating a lot of this training that I'm doing, I'm repeating that training that already exists from somebody else. So I have been working with my business coach and other mentors to best utilize this tool of our team time to best serve you, because I want you guys to get your best growth, your best opportunity to develop as individuals, to develop as coaches, which is going to help you reach your goals of growing your business, which is ultimately going to help more people. So what it's going to look like going forward, and I'm so excited about this, is that we are going to be every week, we're going to have a training topic, a training video that you guys will watch between this week's call and next week's call. And that will be posted in our client group. And we're going to be working from existing training that is phenomenal from the Doug Wood team called Growing Global. And it basically starts soup to nuts. What is the process that a coach does? Because we actually have very simple functions. We just get kind of mixed up in the minutia, so we want to work through the minutia on our team calls. So each week we'll have an assignment, like as far as if you want to participate in the team call, it's recommended that you watch this video, this training video. They're usually like 1 hour. You'll schedule time during the week to make sure you do it. And then we'll have in there, come prepared to the call to talk about like 3 things. So I'll be like, have you listening and looking for 3 things. You're going to come to our call, and it's going to be an open forum. Like whoever wants to come next. So myself and some of the top leaders, we're going to lead this call, but it's going to be more like one-to-one coaching. Like I would love to dive into what Michelle has right here. We just don't have time. So, but we would in a different forum. So we'll have time to do it. And what's cool is not that we'll necessarily get to everybody's questions in this forum, but we can then bring them to our Facebook page. But when I'm coaching, or one of our other top leaders is coaching another person through some of their doubts, their questions, their fears, their blocks, whatever's going on, that everybody's going to learn from it. So does that sound good to you guys, that you'll have more of a voice and be able to definitely answer? Yay, I love the nods and the smiles. So look tomorrow for what the first training topic is going to be, what you'll be looking for when you watch it, and we'll be rolling this out starting next week. So thank you guys for tuning in. Post your questions about tonight in our Facebook group. I'll let you hop over to Dr. A's call right now. He starts at 8. And thank you guys for being who you are and what you bring to Optavia into the world. So thank you. See you next week.